Welcome back, Department 56 repairmen and women. Today's video is how to fix the Department 56 Yummy Gummy Gumdrop Factory motor. How to replace it, matter of fact. So, I have two of them here. I'm working on there in various stages. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to open up our... Okay, so first thing that we're going to do is pop these three wheels off. Red, purple, and yellow. Okay? That's what we got to pop off. All we got to do is use a pair of needle nose pliers, get underneath them, okay, and pull up and outward. They will pop off. It's that simple. Should look like this when they come off. Okay? Next, I'm going to go really quickly through this process because I already started making a video, and I'll start catching up when I get to this one point. But I've already done these steps a gazillion times when I realized, ooh, I should be making a video right now. So yeah, we're going to do it like that. So I'm going to use a heat gun or heat pen, whatever you want to call it, and I'm going to heat around the edges after you popped off those three wheels. I'm going to heat here, here, and here, so along this navy blue edge. Right? This is plastic, this thing. So make sure your setting is on low. And as you're heating up, get a razor knife. Be very careful because it's very easy to slip, and start cutting away the resin or whatever glue that they're using, which is not a thick bead of it, around the edges here. All right? Use little pry tools, small screwdriver, to get underneath and wedge little by little to pop this thing off. When you do that, basically, once you pop this thing off, this is what you're going to be left with, okay? Or I should say, this is what you're going to be left with, the conveyor belt and the motor. First thing that you do is cut the old motor wire. Alright, and by the way, the old motor looks like this, and it's hard to get an exact replacement, so all we can, I'll leave in the link below, all we can get is something that's close to it. So it's a AC 12 volts, that's what this motor is, 50-60 hertz, 2.5 watts, 5 to 6 revolutions per minute, and then it says it's counterclockwise. Good luck on finding that with the same exact shaft length, okay? Also, do something first and make sure it's not your, if you have a voltmeter, make sure it's not the adapter. If your lights aren't lighting up and your motor aren't lighting up or isn't going, it's probably the adapter. If one's working but not the other, it's most likely your motor, right? So anyways, after that, the motor that we're going to use, I'll put it in the description below, is going to be a, I'm going to show you the replacement version or the specs on it. It will say AC 12 volts. Let's see if we can, oh, I think that's upside down, yeah. I can't really see it. I'll read it off to you. It says AC 12 volts, 50 to 60 hertz, 5 to 6 revolutions per minute. I have another one that's made by the same company, and it just says 5 revolutions per minute. And they all say 2 to 3 watts. And the direction, it's not clockwise, it's not counterclockwise, it's both. Now, that doesn't matter. If we were doing the Department 56 like skating figures or something where it needs to matter which way they turn, then you got to have that motor, you know, going in one direction. But it doesn't matter if the conveyor belt spins one way and then spins the other. It doesn't matter, right? So who cares? So when you take the old motor out, you're going to notice, if we compare shaft lengths, that this is probably, I don't know, I'll say 20 or 22 in length, millimeters long, the original motor. This shaft length is going to be 33, okay? So it's longer, so that you don't have a really weird looking thing where the yellow, or sorry, the yellow, because the yellow, believe it or not, is the motor side, where the yellow is popping out to like here, which would look goofy. We have to build a little, like a spacer plate, if you will, a spacer. So all I do is I take 2 pieces of cardboard, corrugated cardboard, and I put them underneath the motor, and voila, that's it. It's that simple. Yeah, it's really that simple. Then I put the new motor, screw it through the cardboard plates. Sorry. Screw it through the cardboard plate, or the cardboard pieces. And so mount it the same way, just use the cardboard as a spacer. That's it. It's that simple. Okay? Now, there was one other thing I wanted to explain. What is it? What is it? Okay, well, as I remember, I will tell you. Oh, make sure you shave off enough cardboard. As you can see, I've barely left any. You can't see that there's any cardboard from this side. That's how it should look. From this side, you can see it, but barely, right? Make sure it's kind of doing the same thing, you know? Now, let's show you how to put this back on, shall we? And I just cut my hand, and that is not fun. Alright, let's pick back up where we left off. So, we got everything where we need it to be. Let's check something real quick. Okay. So right now we're going to splice the wires, but before I can do that, I need to get some heat shrink tubing. So with this heat shrink tubing, because we're gonna solder these wires together the right way. We're not just gonna tie them or twist them together and call it a day. So what I would recommend, put your heat shrink tubing on one of the wires. In this case, it's on the motor wire. Then splice them together, so tie them together, twist them together, whatever you want to call that. After you twist them together, bend them away from the direction that whichever side you did the heat shrink tubing on. I'll explain that why in a second. Because we're going to solder these wires together so that they're really, good and they're not just doing that. So I got my soldering iron, heated up. I got my wire. And now what you want to do is heat up the wire. Trying to get the wire hot, and then you touch this soldering lead, whatever, tin, whatever we call it, the soldering wire. Once the metal gets really hot, you're able to touch it to the wire and it melts onto the wire. And it really joins those two wires together like forever. Okay, sometimes if it's not getting a good, it's not getting the wire hot enough, make sure you clean your old soldering tip off, because that'll do it, definitely. You should be able to touch it to there for like maybe 5-10 seconds and it's hot enough, it will start to melt. It's hot, it's melting. Okay, that is not coming undone, like ever. Next, here we go. Okay, that is not coming undone. So now that we soldered the wires together, we're going to fold them or bend them away from the direction. This way we can slip the heat shrink tube over it. And if you have a heat pin or a heat gun, which I do, but let's pretend we didn't have one, good old lighter will work. That connection, those connections are not coming undone. I am shrinking the rubber by heat, just like it's called. That's it. Done. Now that's going nowhere. Okay. Now, make sure you got this far and just, plug your thing in. Make sure it's working. You'd hate to get through all this mess and, yep, you hear it? Okay. So now, I would put the belt on it, at least on the motor side, okay? Sometimes we can get these in here like this. Sometimes we have to undo the, this shaft. But to get this in there, get the wires in there first. Push those in there towards the back. Towards the bottom and the back. Now, okay. So I'm going to try and move this all the way over to the left, like so. There we go. Okay, now I can get the plastic in here, but I probably won't be able to get this wheel in here. So I would advise you to get this shaft out. Turn, twist. Yeah, let's do that first. So I'm turning and pulling out at the same time. There we go. Okay, we got that out. Okay, now put the thing back on, the conveyor belt. Now this should be super easy. Get your wires back in there. Alright, so we're going to try and get this piece in there, there we go. Alright, so we got it in, right, as you can see. Now, we got to get this, go through the bottom or the top, and try and get this part lined up. Okay, it's probably easier if you go through the bottom. You got a little bit more room. And this takes a lot of finagling. A lot of finagling. Okay. Uh-oh. Bleeding. Ay, ay, ay. I'm not going to pretend that this is easy, because it's not. It is not easy. Definitely need 3 hands. Well, 2. I need a band-aid so I don't get blood all over this thing. 1. Okay. So now that I got a band-aid on this, it should be a little easier to handle, because I'm not trying to avoid hurting myself so much. Alright, there we go. See what I did? Now, push it up there where it belongs. Now we need to get that shaft in place. The shaft that I just took out, this, we need to get this back in there. So line up that wheel that I just took the shaft out from. There we go. Okay. Now I need to get that shaft in there, and that's not easy. So I put my screwdriver on it like that. And that should hammer it back on there. Okay, beautiful. Yep, perfect. Perfecto, perfecto. All right, now that everything is aligned, let's plug it back in. Let's make sure there's no resistance. Let's make sure that the, there we go. That's what you want. Yeah? Beautiful. Nice and quiet. You don't hear any rubbing against anything. All right, now that plate. Okay, so this part we didn't talk about. There was a plate that was in here. There was resin on this. Let me stop it. There was resin on this, and underneath that resin was this plate. Okay, you want the two screws to be up and towards the right. The reason why you need this plate, and when I was heating the resin, which we didn't see that step, because that's when I finally started realizing, oh, I should be videoing this. When you get to that part, or the whole point of this plate is to keep this thing centered and steady as it's turning, and also it keeps it centered while you put that that cover, this cover, back on it. So there was two screws, two little small Phillips head screws that came off of it that we need to put back on. So I got my hot glue gun heating up. I don't have resin, and plus hot glue gun works good enough. That resin, man, once you put that stuff on there, it's really, really hard to get off. It's just not fun to work with. If you're trying to do something permanently, okay. But I love these things. If the motor goes out in 5, 10, 15 years from now, I want to be able to place it a lot easier than I had to go through. All right, so this is the plate, right? And you want to make sure the plate was exactly, so it was like scooted all the way over into that little pocket of resin right there. If you look on both left and right hand sides, see how they're pretty much equal, pretty much like same spacing, and it's straight up and down. You want, so that when we do the last step, which is put that back on, that it's going to fit and not rub too much. So I'm going to do a dry fit right now, and they're good. I'll tell you what, I've never seen these things fit perfectly where they're dead center in these holes. But the tighter that fit is, the more you're going to hear a rubbing sound, a squeaking sound, a plastic on metal sound. And we don't hear anything. You hear the motor. That's beautiful. That's what we want. That's the sound we want. Okay. So now, I got my hot glue gun. This plate, which kind of brings it up, brings it like out this way where it needs to be, and just kind of centers everything, aligns everything to how it needs to be. Don't melt that piece of plastic. When you're heating up this resin, heat lower than the resin and do it on the low, not on high, and do small passes. This is when you're originally, taking this motor out, and then you cut that resin away, right? And small steps, run it a little bit. If you see this plastic getting warped, stop. So keep a big eye on that plastic. That's going to help things. That's going to make your life a lot easier. Okay. We got our glue gun, nice and warm. All we need a bead is right there. Just like how the resin was. Like a precision glue gun. I like this. I usually use the fatter glue guns where it spits out a lot more glue, but I like this. Yeah, it takes a little bit longer to spit out glue, but you have to do more passes, but it's more precise. Pretty cool. I didn't know they had like a precision glue gun until today. Walmart. $10 too. Alright, so we're going to let that glue, that bead of glue, see it down there? There was a thick layer of resin over there holding it in place. We're going to let that dry, which, takes a minute, two to fully dry. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put a bead of glue around these edges on the inside. Okay, so that if we have any issues with this, it's easy to pop off again. And then as fast as possible, and bam. And now, every now and then, keep on turning on the electricity, making sure that nothing is stopping it. You don't want to have to get through the whole thing and it's not working. Okay, so it's working beautifully. Loving it. No sound, no nothing. It's excellent. Okay, I'm also going to show you over here. I had to make a little fix. This whole thing was detached. This whole silo thing was detached, and I had to put glue down there, super glue. Well, when I did it, the super glue kind of messes with the paint, the gray color. So we have some gray metallic paint that I'm going to show you how to use, little paint markers. Boy, does it make a difference. And I'm going to show you one last thing also towards the end. If you get something like that, a lot of these houses, this is resin also, this yellow thing. And it turns yellow and gross. I'll show you how to make that look nice and clean again. While you're at this stage, check your lights up here. Make sure that they are tight. The glue hasn't worn off. If it has worn off, just put a little bead of super glue underneath. See if you can pop it up and pull it, this gumdrop up a little bit, or this one up a little bit. If not, just a little bead of glue with some kind of precision super glue or Loctite glue or something like that. But now it's time to put those little wheels back on, these things. The little spinning hypnotic pinwheel thingies. For these, I'm going to use Gorilla Glue gel. It's strong enough to keep them on there for a very long time, and yet weak enough that if I don't like it, I can pull them off for whatever reason. Oh, before I do this, I've got to show you something. So this is another one that I'm going to be fixing here soon, but this went through the same process. So this shaft right here, we don't have a screw or the kind of shaft that they supplied with the old motor. So what you can do, what I do, is I take a screw, not the same kind of screw, not the same if this is like a M4 or whatever kind of very tight threading. I'll just take a regular screw, even like a cabinet screw, something that has wide threads, and I will put some super glue down in there, or some Gorilla Glue down in there, and then screw the screw in there, kind of cross thread it nice and tight, and then I will use a bolt cutter or my Dremel and I will chop the head off so that you're left with something that looks like that. See if you can see it. See that this thing is a screw. You can see the threads, and I just chopped the head. So after I twisted and turned it into there, I chopped that off. So now let's put some Gorilla Super Glue gel on those. You could use Gorilla Glue, but it takes a little longer to dry. This Gorilla Super Glue Gel XL. Awesome stuff. All right, let's start with the big one, the red one. And a little dab will go you a long way. So, oops, I almost did that out of order. Start with the purple one first. Purple one goes in the middle. Oh, and I need to show you one other thing. There was glue in here before, some other kind of glue. Get that out with a small screwdriver or something. There, it's out. See, I just pried it out a little like a, what's it called, an eyeglass screwdriver, little flathead. Okay, let's put that on there first, and whoop, done. That one's on there. All right, next, the red one goes to the far right. We already put glue on that. Yep. Okay, and last but not least, yellow, which goes far left, same, has a little bit of glue in there, get it out. I don't know if that's glue, I think that's resin. It feels like, it looks like resin, it's acting like resin. It's hard to get out like resin, so if it walks like it, talks like it, it probably is it. Okay, I'm not going to heat this up to get that resin out because this thing is plastic. Alright, now and I just put a little dab on there, and now when you put these back on, try and get them on as straight as you can. If you don't, well, when they turn, they're going to turn kind of wonky. So you can only do your best, and that's fine. So let's see, shall we? Let's do the final reveal. Let's do lights first. Da, 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 da. And let's do, oh, you didn't see it. lights. And let's do the motor. And bam. Works. Good as new. Right here, you'll be able to tell if your pinwheels are on wonky, because they will spin just very wonky looking. You'll be able to tell. Now's the time to straighten them up. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Okay. Alright, that's as straight as those are getting. So, what I meant was before about the motor being clockwise or counterclockwise. So you see the conveyor belt's going this way, going right to left. Now, when I plug it in again, it should go, yep, left to right. I think that's the correct direction. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Do you know? Do you care? As long as that thing is spinning, I'm happy, right? As long as the conveyor belt looks like a conveyor belt, nobody knows. So, and plus, good luck finding a motor that's, close to that. So now, let's show you another tip. This is, by the way, if you liked this video for that fix, make sure to let me know. If there's something you want to know how to fix in the comments, but it has to be from the North Pole collection of Department 56. I don't do Limax, I don't do any of the other ones, just, that's it. So, where's my other one? Let's see here. Okay, so do we see how grungy that is? Let's just put them side by side so you can see what the difference is. Do we see how white that is? Okay, remember that? Now do we see how gross and yellow that is? So I'm going to use a magic eraser. I'm going to try and get as much of that snow up as possible. Alright, so that's better. I got most of the gross yellow stuff from around here. The yellow snow, it looked like, you know, what yellow snow looks like. Yeah, it looked like some animal went over there and, you know, did that. But I'm sure it's a combination of dust and the glue turns colors after a while. Now this, there's nothing I can do about because that is resin, but we can sure as heck hide that. So I got all that dirty snow off there. This is going to be replacement snow. And I'm going to do super glue. Just good old fashioned liquid super glue. And I'm going to see if we can show this. Okay. I'm going to try and show this. I don't think we're going to be able to get this, but I have one of those washroom sinks. So what I'm going to do is put a little super glue on the edges right here, like around that light. Okay, that's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to do a layer of this fake snow stuff. Do it fast because it starts to move. Okay. let it stick. I'm shaking it off. Now it covered, right? It's good. Let's do another pass though. And I'm going to start to put for the second one. I'm going to put a thin layer of glue everywhere else where I got that other glue off of. Doesn't that look better? And I could do a third. So if I'm still not happy, I'm still like, oh, that's too yellow. I don't like it. Let's build it up one more layer. Really only needs it around the front. Come on, doesn't that look so much better? Right? Right? Okay, and while I'm at it, I'm going to go a little snow happy. I'm going to put a little over here on the doorsteps where I cleaned up. Everywhere I cleaned up. Doorstep, a little in the front right here, a little over here, and a little over here. Because that's where there was some snow. Just put a thin layer of glue, a thin layer of glitter. It's not glitter, it's like plastic. It's like fake snow. It looks really good. It's like glitter. Honestly, it's like sugar consistency. Oh yeah. Now the snow's back. See? Good stuff. All right, last but not least, I said a lot of the glue, the super glue, had messed up the gray color. So let's see if we can see that right up here. You can't tell, but it looks like faded gray right in that spot. You can't really see it on camera, but I'm telling you, Sharpie marker and these paint pens. It's like they all use the exact same color code. It just works out like that. So cool. Amazon. Now, that